This is a Venus flytrap. Charles Darwin once called it one of the most wonderful plants in the world. It is different from most of the other plants that you'll see in nature because it is carnivorous. It turns the tables on the traditional animal-plant relationship and derives its nutrients from the flies it captures. I love plants and have been taking a plant biology class this semester to learn more about them. Due to my specific interest in carnivorous plants, I have done extra research into them. Carnivorous plants are unique in the plant world and have many key distinguishing features. Today I want to talk about what a carnivorous plant is and how they evolved, what their habitats are, and what the different methods they use for capturing their prey are. So I'd like to start with what a carnivorous plant is. According to a journal article by Thomas Givnesh, for a plant to be considered carnivorous, it must be able to absorb nutrients from dead bodies adjacent to its surfaces, obtain some advantage in growth or reproduction, and have unequivocal adaptations for active prey attraction, capture, and digestion. The article further states that there are more than 700 recognized species of carnivorous plants today. This adaptation seems to have developed independently about 9 separate times. However, some botanists estimate it's happened up to 12 separate times. As stated in a Natural History Museum article written by Carrie Lutzoff, depending on the size and location of the plant, its prey can include bacteria, insects, small reptiles and amphibians, small mammals, crustaceans, and even small fish. A research paper by Aaron Ellison and Nicholas Gatelli shows that while some plants specialize in the type of prey they capture, such as the Venus flytrap, others are not picky about their prey and will take whatever can fit into their trap. By studying the different structures of this plant, we can discover how it evolved. A Smithsonian article written by Stephanie Payne shares that evolution tends to repurpose existing genes. This shows how these traps are all modified leaves. In addition, its digestive fluids are chemically very similar to the enzymes a plant uses to ward off pests and other diseases. So far, all the cases of carnivorous plants show convergent evolution. This means that they evolved in similar ways, and this would mean that there are very limited pathways for a plant to become carnivorous. Now that I have given some background onto carnivorous plants, I would like to discuss their habitat and how carnivory helps them survive in these places. Carnivorous plants are found in every continent except for Antarctica. This Venus flytrap is native to North Carolina. In a paper published by Oxford University Press and written by Elzbieta Kroll et al., carnivorous plants live in extreme habitats, such as swamps, bogs, and marshes. Carnivory makes up for the nutrients that they lack due to the inhospitable environment and bad soil. This can be nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus. The article also mentions that some plants are only carnivorous when necessary, such as during periods of rapid growth or extremely unfavorable conditions. And when taken care of properly, many plants don't need to be carnivorous at all to survive. Well, this does not happen often in the wild, because according to a report in Scientific American by Yolanda Heslop Harris, its advantages over traditional plants is negated in most normal environments. But in their homes, carnivory could provide even more benefits than just being an alternate to acquiring nutrients. This increase in nutrients from its prey could result in being able to do more photosynthesis, so it would be able to grow and reproduce more than we would expect. Conversely, if they're able to obtain carbon from their prey, this might mean that they don't need to do as much photosynthesis at all, which would be beneficial in a place that doesn't receive as much sunlight. Although because there's a lot of nutrients required for carnivory and to build all these traps and every working part, any benefit to photosynthesis is currently conjectural. Finally, I would like to explain the different types of traps that plants use to capture their prey. These traps can be classified into many different ways. The first main distinction is between active traps and passive traps. Active traps use movement to capture their prey, such as the Venus flytrap. which you can see here. But passive traps do not use any movement at all, such as the pitcher plant. However, active and passive traps can be broken down even further into the specific method used. As explained in an article on HerbSpeak by Destiny Berard, active traps include the snap traps and bladder traps. Snap traps, like the Venus flytrap, use rapid movement to ensnare their prey, whereas bladder traps use a sucking motion to suck their prey into their tube. Passive traps include the pitfall, the sticky, and the lobster pot traps. Pitfall traps rely on their prey tripping on their slippery substances and falling into their traps, whereas sticky traps have a sticky coating to trap their prey to the surface of the plant, and lobster pot traps are open traps with hairs that allow their prey in but not out. Today I have given you an overview of carnivorous plants. I've shared what a carnivorous plant is and how it evolved, where it lives and how carnivory benefits it in this environment, and the different methods it can use to capture its prey. Carnivorous plants are different from many of the other plants that you'll see, and they have many key distinguishing features. I hope you now understand why Charles Darwin considered this plant to be one of the most wonderful plants in the world. Thank you.